Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Here is your tarot reading for the week ahead. A big warm welcome. As ever, I do these Tarotscopes weekly with a view to help you best navigate the week ahead, how to be aware of some of the challenges, and where to lean and focus your energy so that you get the utmost best out of the next 7 days. We start with the High Priestess here. Such a great card. The High Priestess rules the subconscious, the dreamscape, the intuition, all of those parts of us that remain hidden and mysterious. When she appears in a reading, it's always a prompt of, are we connecting with our intuition enough? Are we asking what our heart and our gut has to say around situations, or have we tipped a little bit too much within the head? Has it got a very cerebral, very critical, lots of planning, lots of attacking things with the mind? Of course, that has value, but very often we need balance. As a society, we tend to be very rationally based. And we only make time for our intuition when things kind of get a bit desperate and we're shouting at our intuition, what do you have to tell me? And unsurprisingly, it can be a little less than cooperative. Therefore, it's a really great time to be carving out some stillness. That could be meditation, that could be breath work, that could be yoga, that could be sound baths, whatever it is. Or it could just be as simple as grabbing a cup of tea, looking out the window. Allowing those moments where inspiration strikes, it just pops into our head, it illuminates, it wakes us up, it goes, that's what it's been trying to tell me. And that's beautifully echoed by the fact that we have the tower here as well. Now, I'm going to talk about the tower in a slightly different way further along in the reading because it's pointed towards something else. But why I mention it here is you've got the crown literally being blown off the top of the tower and this lightning bolt striking it. So there may very well be strikes of inspiration for you, trying to come through, strikes of inspiration, imagination, creativity, those illumination points where we go, that's how I meant to approach it, or that's the way that I meant to be dealing with this situation. But they can only come in when we are cultivating a real sense of stillness and receptivity. Look at those moments where it's quite interesting. I'm saying all of this because I recorded a masterclass all around intuition yesterday, and a lot of this came up. But looking at those moments where you are most receptive, is that during displacement activity? Is that while you're in the bath? Is that while you're walking in nature? Whatever it might be, but really cultivating some of that, because there are some challenges here for you this week, Leo. And none of those challenges necessarily feel insurmountable by any means. But what is really going to steer your ship steady, and I use these words for a particular reason that I'll speak about in a moment, what will steer your ship steady is connecting with your intuition, connecting with your heart, checking in, what do I instinctively, intuitively, innately feel is the right thing to do here? Not think is the right thing to do, but feel that the right thing is to do. Some of that may include well, partly a sense of ambivalence. Should I, shouldn't I? Should I stay? Should I go? And this call to break away and move away. This is something that came up very much for Aries as well, your fiery neighbor, because Aries also had these two cards, the Two of Pentacles and the Tower. So there's definitely some overlap with what the fire signs are feeling this week. But we have the Six of Swords, the Lord of Earned Success. This is part of why I use that analogy about a steady course. Don't rock the boat, perhaps. But this card also represents wanting to move towards calmer waters, needing to depart or move away from that which is unsettling us or that which is making us feel uneasy. A message that is very much repeated in the Two of Pentacles with the waves in the back. You can see that there's a direct correlation with the waves in the foreground of the Six of Swords and the waves that are in the background of the Two of Pentacles. What does that mean for you? Well, it's indicating that this week may feel a little unsteady, an echo of what I said to Aries. And there may, some of these answers may not feel kind of completely obvious. What will perhaps be obvious to you this week is that sense of unsettledness, is that sense of unease. Knowing that, okay, this doesn't feel quite kosher, something doesn't smell right, something doesn't necessarily feel right, but the solution on how to move towards calmer waters may not be evident. There's a couple of things that I'm being told. One is really just focus on the here and now and focus very much on your next immediate steps. Don't necessarily get caught up on the long term, because that's perhaps just going to lead to more confusion or more anxiety. Whereas if you can really focus on, okay, what do I need to do next? What do I need to do? What's the best thing to do about the here and now? That will not only give you a sense of perhaps more control, but it will bring the clarity that you might be looking for. What is quite given, particularly as we move into Venus in retrograde in around this time, what is quite given is that this slight sense of unnerving, because also the high priestess represents those things bubbling up kind of from the subconscious. So you may feel this slight low level anxiety that you can't quite place. I wouldn't read too much into it. It might not be that anything is definitively wrong, but you could find yourself looking and searching for what is giving me this sense of unease. There may be good cause, there may be not, and it's up to you to slightly distinguish as to whether which of those it is. What you may also find, I said that I'd come back to the Tower card in a different aspect. The Tower card, interestingly enough, this came up for Aries, and it was very much about clearing the way and a reset and starting afresh and starting anew. For me, in this instance, Leo, because it's slightly towards the end of your reading, whereas for Aries it was the very first card, the fact that it's coming up as the fourth card, and I'll talk about the fifth card in a moment, represents more of a dismantling, represents more of a process of, there may be, and I know this sounds probably a little bit more alarmist than I necessarily, than it's meant, but it may mean that certain, because the Tower can talk about disillusionments being removed, or illusions rather being removed, and seeing things as they truly are and seeing the truth. Therefore, this week you might find that those plans that you've had, those things that you've held quite dearly, again with that Venus in retrograde energy, those things that you've had a belief in, that could represent people, that could represent projects, that could represent those things that you've put a lot of heart investment into, is the only way I can describe it. It's those things that you perhaps cared about, or you've spent a good deal of time and energy and effort into. They could perhaps slightly be pulled from your hands. Now, at the time, that may feel upsetting. We have the Five of Cups that's representing that, the Lord of Sorrow, representing that. Again, we've got this very watery energy with the turbulent waters and this bridge, the bridge over troubled waters. The fact that it's water, water is the element of the emotions, of the spirit. So emotionally, it may feel a little bit turbulent this week, but it's not all doom and gloom by any means. We always have to trust and believe that whatever is being dismantled and taken away from us is for our very best. It is, it's because there are bigger, better, brighter things to do. And perhaps we've also been focusing our energy and efforts where they're not needed. And the universe is slightly kind of rapping us on the knuckles and saying, stop that. You're spending enough time. So there may be a little bit of willful what's the word that I'm looking for? When we kind of convince ourselves, willful idealism. It's not quite the word I wanted, but it's close enough. Having been have been happening recently, again, because of this Venus in retrograde energy coming through and just saying, no, 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 let's take off those rose tinted glasses and look at. So that what I'm saying in a roundabout way is that there will be a shift of focus. And the more that we stand and weep at the rubble, the longer that we're delaying shifting our focus and going, actually, I need to focus on that. And that is so beautifully summarized in the Five of Cups, because we still have those upright cups behind this figure that is ignoring them, and that is refusing to look at actually what is still working, what does need my focus, what does need my attention. And the Three Spilt Cups, I really get the sense it's the universe kind of knocking them over and saying, stop wasting your time. Why are you focusing on that? That's silly. And there may be a propensity or a want to move into victimhood, and that just does not serve you this week, Leo. So instead, focus on, okay, that's not what is meant for me. What else am I meant to be looking at? So that is my reading. As ever, be sure to check out your rising sign, your moon sign, and your sun sign for a more in-depth look at your week ahead. Not sure how to do that? Do not worry. You can check the pinned comment below on how to do that as ever, and sign up for the email so that you never miss a Tarotscope in the future. Until next time, have a fabulous, fabulous week, and I shall see you then. Bye for now.